Warning! This game contains graphic violence, super suggestive themes, and vulgar language. Don't know how much of this will show up in my review, but just in case this is your mature content, warning!
Alright guys, we're finally getting into it. The original DmC Reboot. I've heard this game is absolute garbage. I've heard it sucked. It looks terrible. Dante doesn't look right. I guess he acts like, a horrible character. I haven't really heard much about the gameplay or anything like that. But I'm assuming this sucks, so let's get right into it. Let's just dive right in, take care of it. We'll deal with it. Well, that's not quite what I was expecting. Did people just play this game, or did they just judge it before they even got a hold of it? It's the latter, isn't it? Yep. People played this game before ever actually playing it. They judged it before playing the game. Why? Okay, all jokes aside, I have been eagerly waiting for this game. I kind of missed out on a lot of the hype and the backlash because I wasn't the biggest Devil May Cry fan back in the day. But, now that it's come out and all of that jazz, and now that I've played through the first 3 games twice and the 4th game at least once, I think I have a clear understanding of what happened here. I know it's kind of silly to just, bury the game, shovel it in the ditch with just looks alone, right? So what happened? Well, in the first few promo pieces that we got for the game, Dante was smoking. And smoking is bad. But, see, what people don't realize is that the developers listened to the negative backlash of him taking a puff of a cigarette and changed it. He doesn't smoke at all in this game. Nope, not once. So, let's put that behind us and start in with this review, shall we?
So, this game is a first for the series, as it is a grittier, realistic reboot of the franchise. Still over the top, but somewhat grounded too. It's a weird mix, if I'm honest. Capcom isn't exactly the only developer this time around, as Ninja Theory has their hands in this game as well. Not to be confused with Team Ninja, Ninja Theory isn't really known for much, so that may contribute to the negativity the game garnished as well. So is DmC the Reboot worth a look? Like all the other games in the Devil May Cry series, this game is playable on modern consoles, so I'll be tackling the PS4 Definitive Edition. And Mundus is the main villain this time around. Again. So without further stalling and chatting, let's take on Mundus! Round 2. So, the plot of this game is pretty basic. Mundus has practically taken over the world. A small rebellion led by Virgil is trying to stop the total demonic takeover. Meanwhile, Dante is outed as the son of Sparta and is hunted down by Mundus because Dante is part angel, part demon, also known as a Nephilim. We join Dante after a rousing drinking and festive night with 2 club girls. Dante is just waking up with a hangover, and Kat, a witch working for Virgil, finds him. Dante is dragged into limbo, and we have our plot. Dante ends up learning about his past and his father and joins the rebellion.
Anyone get the feeling that LucasArts is suing somebody for this?
Anyway, the plot turns into Dante dealing with something for a few missions, or as I like to call it, a subplot, and then a boss fight moving on. The first one is Soda Pop. Yeah, demons are using soda and advertising it as a fresh energy drink. And in reality, it is poison and makes you fat, all coming out of a succubus's butt. She actually looks like a demonic slug.
Anyone get the feeling that Matt Groening is suing somebody for this?
After that, you end up in demon prison and kill the demonic news anchor / warden. Then you find out Lilith, Mundus' girl that he's showing having off-camera fully clothed sex with, is pregnant. Hey, I wouldn't want to see her naked either, honestly. Anyway, after saving Virgil from police and demons alike, Kat is arrested, so Dante kidnaps Lilith and her slightly unborn, but still is a boss fight, baby. And they have a little trade. Crap happens, Mundus' girl and baby is killed, Kat is saved, and all hell breaks loose. Thanks to Kat, however, in a move that was foreshadowed earlier in the game, Kat was able to learn the layout of Mundus' tower by way of out-of-body experience. After a huge battle to climb the tower, Dante and Virgil fight Mundus and kills him. In a move that shocks no one, it turns out Virgil views humanity as more of pets and less important. He wants to rule them, but with respect. Quotation marks. Plenty. Dante stabs him and ends the game. Other than Mundus having a kid, nothing in this game is really all that shocking. All the twists are obvious, and nothing stands out as bad, but nothing stands out as really good either. It's serviceable, and that's about all there is to it. Now, when it comes to the character writing, this game gets a bit better. First, let's talk about the main villain first, as they're probably the blemish here. Mundus is pretty run-of-the-mill. He wants power because humans can't take care of themselves. He is taking over because he is better, and in reality, Virgil isn't much different in that regard, but I'll get back to him later. Honestly, the only villain that really stands out in dialogue is Barbas, the demon news reporter. He still has a vulgar mouth on him, but he does it in a way that makes him feel more unique compared to the others. Dante, Virgil, and Kat, however, are all pretty good. Dante grows as a character, and this is not only shown in dialogue, but the fact that his hair is turning whiter by the end of the game. Virgil may also be predictable villain, but at least he doesn't look like Wilson Fisk turned into Flint Marko.
Anyone get the feeling that Marvel is suing someone for this?
Virgil's interactions with Dante do help his character out, and him being a villain doesn't necessarily come out of left field either. Kat, on the other hand, is central to Dante's growth and his reasoning for defending humans like he does at the end of the story. She's tortured before the game and even during the game while off camera. She's even betrayed by Virgil and still defends him to, basically not have him killed in the end. Probably my favorite female character in the series. She doesn't let anything keep her down, honestly, and as a witch, she helps a ton of the game. All in all, while the villains don't stand out too much other than Barbas, the three main heroes do indeed leave their mark, making Virgil's betrayal tougher to swallow, even if the narrative was predictable with it coming up. So, the gameplay takes a few points from Devil May Cry 4, and leaves some other points behind. This creates a unique hybrid of the series. Dante possesses 4 types of weapons: guns, angelic weapons, demonic weapons, and rebellion. Rebellion is your everyday weapon, and once again, probably my favorite. Hellstinger's back, and that's great. It is fast, strong, but not as fast as angel weapons or as strong as demonic weapons. Do you see the way this is going to be working out yet? For demonic weapons, you get an axe, which is slow but really strong, and some fists that are weaker but faster. Though the axe is hard to combo with, since it sends most things flying away, I end up preferring the fists, which you get later on in the game. The angelic weapons are a scythe and a set of throwing stars. The scythe is fast and does some great range, however the throwing stars, also gained later in the game, have really good range, and so, yeah, I use them for a large amount of the game as well. They also are really good in gathering a bunch of foes into one place. To activate weapons of a certain type, you hold the right trigger for demonic attacks and the left trigger for angelic attacks, allowing you to combo with 3 different weapons at a time. And you can even change weapons on the fly as well with directional pads. If you want to change from the axe to the fists, for example. When in demonic mode or angelic mode, your guns are replaced with grappling hooks. It brings everything closer to you, and the angel grappling hook brings you closer to whatever you grab. There are also 3 different types of guns you can get. One is a type of flare gun that tags foes and blows up on your command. There's one that's basically a shotgun, and of course, Ebony and Ivory return, the fast dual-wielding pistols. You can also change those through the directional pad as well, which is very nice. The gameplay is quick and pretty easy to get used to, even if you're chaining combos. But it can also be a bit more traditional, I suppose. It's easy to fight and get used to the gameplay, and it is good, but it can also be a little bit difficult to master if you're not ready for it. Honestly, this is actually really fun. And it is nice that you can customize and change the style on a whim, but you can also have basic platforming as well, which works fine. Normally in the series, platforming is a bad word, but exploration in this game is pretty fun actually. Not just from a gameplay aspect, but a level design one as well. So each level is very unique in design. This is the first, as most of the levels may reuse a theme, but typically don't repeat compared to other Devil May Cry games. As normally most other Devil May Cry games have some type of level repeating so they can reuse assets. They change them enough. Although this was done so much in 4 it became an issue, that's beside the point. Here, every level looks fantastic and can be distinguished from other levels in the game, which makes each mission containing one full level. The streets, the final tower, hell, even the demonic Mountain Dew factory look great and unique.
Anyone get the feeling that Pepsi is suing someone for this?
So yeah, the levels look great and are really fun to explore, and some of the missions are incredibly unique, but still really fun. You have to communicate with the regular world in one of them, and mess with stuff in the limbo to save a car in the human world, in a big, huge, climactic car chase. That one's a really fun one. The bosses are mostly pretty good too. They're built to be more standard compared to the rest of the series, hitting weak points and doing some platforming instead of just taking on the boss and hoping for the best. The large succubus-like slug is a decent example. Mundus' spawn after a really unique dance club level is also a great example as well. And Barbos was just a crazy boss fight. Oh my gosh, that one was fun, works really well. The disappointment is, once again, Mundus. The Mundus boss fight is the kind of thing that we've seen before. It's just, you know, a bunch of stuff put together to form some type of body, and then you beat up his fists, hence the Sandman joke earlier. Seriously, this fight isn't all that great. The enemies can get a little bit bland as well. Some of their designs are just updated versions of earlier enemies, and I know that's in a lot of video games, but it kind of wears thin. However, there are some unique enemies, and they do provide a really decent challenge, and the enemy abilities, even if the designs remain really similar, do change with each enemy, so that's really nice. When enemies do have unique designs, however, be prepared for some hell. Rage beasts and witches, especially witches, are really challenging and really difficult to deal with, while some other unique enemies like harpies aren't too awfully bad. While Mundus was a letdown for sure, Virgil's final fight does kind of make up for it. Not nearly as good as the fight with him in number 3, but it's still fun when he spits out a shadow clone and attacks you with the shadow attacking right behind you. It's a really kind of cool boss fight, and it's definitely more traditional to DmC than other fights in this game. With all this praise, it kind of blocks out the crappy fight with Mundus, and honestly, probably has my favorite levels in DmC of all time so far. So, that's always nice, right? Moving into the Secrets and Side Quest category, Bloody Palace is back for some red orb collecting, and blue orbs are kind of back as well, but they're replaced with crosses this time. And each level has its own set of collectibles. Okay, collectibles work like this. There are keys, doors, and souls hidden in most of the levels. If you collect them all, you get a huge multiplier to your score for those looking to get high ranks. You don't have to relocate them to get this multiplier if you replay the level, which is really nice. Souls are just something you can find lying around because levels are fun to move around and explore, so finding crap is fun. Souls are screaming, making them noticeable if you're paying attention. The issue is, other than a few red orbs, I can't seem to find any real use for collecting them outside of achievement hunting and ranks at the end of levels. Keys, however, are a different matter. You should locate keys if given the chance, as you need them to unlock doors. Now, if you find a key in one mission and take it with you to another mission, you can unlock a door in another mission, which is also a really nice touch. They are very useful. The doors lead to secret missions to get, obviously pieces of the health cross or Devil Trigger crosses when you unlock Devil Trigger later down in the game. Boosting health is always a nice reward, and while I didn't find the boss fights all that challenging to previous games, there are some levels that brought the hellfires, one of which was quite literal. Anyway, while secrets don't get you too much, they do boost rank, which helps you get white orbs. Yeah, here's the main reason to be getting all the secrets as you can, as white orbs unlock Dante's skills, which is really useful, and since the gameplay is pretty fun, this is also rewarding in that aspect as well. Plus, more health is nothing to scoff at either. Besides, with level design this good, most of these are really fun to find, and some more difficult ones were relocated or fixed in the definitive edition, so that happens to be what I'm playing, and that is also a nice touch for me. Alright, bonus. Let's wrap this up, shall we? While the story and some of the character and charm is lacking in the writing of the game, there are some characters worth something for those story lovers out there. And if you just need gameplay in your life, this game should satisfy. While not the best gameplay or the most complicated combos, this game still has a variety of fighting styles that you can effortlessly switch between and is slightly more approachable to newcomers of the series while not totally alienating older fans. The level design is possibly the best in the series on looks as well as gameplay design, and the secrets you can find help build Dante up as a fighter, which is great. It helps expand the already good gameplay and updates your health all at once. To me, it is amazing how negatively this game is looked upon, because it's actually a pretty decent game. Sure, I still love Devil May Cry 1 and 3 more, but honestly I'm proud to have finally played this game. It isn't perfect, but I recommend checking it out, as it's probably pretty cheap right now, even the definitive version on the newer consoles.
Anyone get the feeling that Capcom is suing me over this? I doubt it, because I actually like one of their most hated games. And honestly, why don't more people like this game? Seriously, it's not that bad of a game. Hating it just because of the way Dante looks and never even picking it up because of that is just kind of dumb, isn't it? Just a little bit? No? Alright.
I will say the game crashed on me once on the first boss fight, so 0 out of 10. There you go. Sucky game. Just terror. I'm just kidding. It only did that once, which is way more than some other games in the series, I'll give it that, but I didn't find the problem later on replaying the same level, and only had another issue at the end of a level that just didn't load correctly in the DLC. Yeah, so next week, if nothing goes wrong, I'll actually be discussing that DLC, Virgil's Downfall, as it does add a bit of character growth, story points, new levels, and even some new gameplay, so it shouldn't be too long of a video though, and I can finally put the DmC series to rest until Devil May Cry comes out in a few months. Until then, ladies and gents, take care. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and follow up DLC video next week, and, hit the bell for live notifications, all that stuff, because YouTube decided that the subscribe button just wasn't enough. Bye-bye!